All right, guys, welcome. Here we go. I get started. We're gonna do our first mock draft of the year. Uh, I've been watching a lot of these lately, and it's super early. We don't even have the draft order completely set yet. Obviously, we have all the teams that are not in the playoffs. We have their draft order set, but the rest of them obviously we don't have set, and we're way too early in the season to be seeing all of the same mocks over and over again. And I've been watching a lot of them because I want to see. I love mock draft season, so yeah, we're gonna mix it up a little bit, do something a little bit different. We're just gonna do a one round today just to start it off, just to test the waters, and we'll do some we'll do some drafting. So let's jump into it. Welcome, guys. We're gonna be using PFF. I do like the PFF mock draft simulator better, and their ratings as well better. The only thing is you have to have a PFF subscription to do trades and stuff like that, but that's fine. And it's limited. You can only do like one per day, but there's ways to circumvent that. All right, starting off number one with the Titans. Everybody's got Cam Ward going number one, the Titans, or Shadir, one of the two. Oh, Shadir, he's just like Joe Burrow. Yeah, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Oh, not like just like Joe Burrow, but like like they're very similar, and like they'd be great in Callahan's offense. And Callahan used to play with Joe Burrow. Okay, yeah, sure. That's an interesting take, and I hear that quite a bit. I don't really agree with it. Levis fucking sucks for sure. That's not a question. Um, I mean, you took him fourth overall or something, pretty damn high, right? Third overall. I think it was fourth, maybe. First round. I mean, he was a better prospect than either of these guys are. He's raw, just like Cam Ward was. Do you really want to go back to that? That didn't go well for you. If Levis was polished at all, which he's not, then you wouldn't have half of the issues that you had this year, right? You have a pretty solid-ish defense, decent weapons. Like if Levis didn't throw multiple pick sixes like every game, basically, you guys would have won a lot more games. Uh, I don't think you go that route again. I think you get a weapon. I think you check out free agency, or I think you maybe even move up to the back half of the first round to get the guy that you really like, or more likely, you just wait to the second round and get somebody like Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is a stud. So yeah, that's my philosophy on it. So we're going BPA and weapons, right? What you guys need. I'm assuming Levis is not going to be the guy, right? Bringing in either a free agent or, like I said, draft in the second round. So, what do you need? You need a tackle, you need an edge, you need a corner. You definitely need a receiver if you want to go that route. So, why not, dude? Just to make it easy, the first draft, why not take Travis Hunter, right? You need a corner, you need a receiver, get two birds stoned at the same time, right? Nice little Rickyism for you. All right, moving on. Browns. Deshaun Watson ripped his shit again. Whoops. Bummer. He's axed. Okay, well, what are you doing? Taking a quarterback? I mean, you could sign Jameis again. DTR sucks, by the way. He's not the answer, and you know that. But you didn't really invest a lot in him, so that's fine. But yeah, he's not the answer for you. Do you want to take Jameis for another year? Do you want to try and get a free agent? Do you like the quarterbacks enough to swing on them this early? I mean, Cleveland's a pretty desperate franchise. They've been desperate for a while. Uh, Fuck it. Let's swing on a guy, right? Why not? Sean Watson ain't gonna help us, so let's go for a quarterback. Let's go for Cam Ward. Why? I mean, he's got the most upside, right? That's what you want ultimately. Like, yeah, you've got a solid roster, but you've got some holes in it, to be honest. You guys were built to win like a year ago, and you didn't win with Deshaun, and now you're kind of paying for it, literally. But yeah, Cam Ward, he's got the higher upside in my opinion. Um, so we're gonna move on. All right, number three, New York. Somewhat of a similar position, right? Haven't had a great quarterback for a while. Danny Dimes was pretty inconsistent. You can blame that on him. You can blame that on the team. I don't really know. I don't really care, to be honest. What are you doing? Right? You taking Shadur? Like, or are you taking another player? Go get Cousins, man. Like, go get Cousins. His ankle will be a year better. He'll be cheaper. You get him a 1 year deal and try and get a guy in the second, right? Try and get Milrow. Try and get somebody like that. I don't like Shadur that much, to be honest. Like, I just don't. I he's good. He's not number one, number two, number three pick overall good. Even if your team sucks, I'm sorry. It's my opinion. Can't do it. So what do? Like I said, you sign a quarterback or you trade for a quarterback, right? You got Darnold potentially. Malik Neighbors is amazing, but he's pissed, and I don't blame him. He's tired of playing with bums. So go get him a guy that can actually throw him the ball, right? What's better than going to help out with that than another receiver, right? Tedroy and McMillan. Take all the heat off Malik Neighbors or a lot of it. You're going to stop both of those guys? No. Good luck, dude. And that Tyrone Tracy kid, he's nasty. So the Giants could actually build something decent. They just need a good quarterback, which is the same thing they've been saying for a while. But you're just not going to swing on a guy too early. That it's not worth it, in my opinion. So moving on, Pats. You got Drake May. You got some really good defensive players here on the option. I mean, honestly, you take Will Campbell, right? It's not even a hesitation. You got to protect Drake May. He's your franchise quarterback. You already know that. You don't want to see him get beat up. You already watched him get concussed this year. It's just, yeah, you protect your asset right there. You go Will Campbell. Oh, he's got short arms. Okay. We'll find out when we get to the combine and whatever if it's the 1.5 inch difference that everybody likes to flip out about. I don't really care. Oh, his arms aren't long enough. If the guy's a stud tackle, it's not going to matter when he's, pancaking dudes coming off the edge and he doesn't allow sacks, which he didn't do at LSU. It doesn't matter his arm length, in my opinion. He faced plenty of great pass rushers in the SEC. That's the mini NFL. So, yeah, enough of that. Jags. All right, where do you go here? Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Malachi Starks. Those are all interesting. I've seen a number of different options. To be honest, I really don't think you can go wrong with any of them. I think, to be honest, I think you go cornerback, right? Will Johnson's a freak. He's in my opinion, he's the best player in the draft. I think he's a better corner than Travis Hunter. Just I know he's like, oh my god, he plays two positions and he won the Heisman. I know, dude. He's really good. He's a really good corner. He's a really good receiver. Hot take. I think Ted Roy is a better receiver. I think Will Johnson is a better corner. Maybe not light years better, but that's my take. Travis Hunter is great at both, but that's my opinion. Yeah, Will Johnson's a freak. He's going to help the Jags. The Jags defense was pretty rough. And it's a relatively deep class, especially for guards. Not deep class overall, but for guards and tackles somewhat. So take Will Johnson there, right? All right, moving on. Raiders. You take Shadur? Dude, Shadur loves Brady. He's glazed Brady since before he was even at Colorado, like literally. So I guess they're tight. I get it. Brady's like part owner now, right? Are you gonna have what, Gardner Minshew is your guy or Aiden O'Connell? I'm not an Aiden O'Connell hater. I like he can play. He's not a starting quarterback. he's a he's a 30th ranked quarterback. You don't want that. So, yeah, you do it. You got to pull the trigger and you take the quarterback of the future, right? And you get Shadur. Number 7, you got some juicy players here for the Jets. A bunch of question marks in the offseason. You don't even know if Rodgers is going to come back. Probably not. You don't know who the answer is going to be. Devontae is probably going to be gone, so you guys need a receiver too. So that pretty much just leaves like, I mean, Travis Hunter's already gone, right? Teteroy McMillan's already gone, so that leaves Luther Burden. Is Luther Burden a great receiver? Yeah, he's pretty good. I don't know how much it's going to translate in the NFL, right? Like, he could be insane, or I'm significantly more comfortable with the other two receivers. I see them as a tier above Luther Burden. Luther Burden is a big question mark for me. I have no doubt that Travis Hunter and Teteroy McMillan are going to produce in the NFL. Luther Burden, I think he definitely can, but I'm not positive. He's kind of a question mark for me, is what I would say. So, do you want to take that at 7 when you've already got Garrett Wilson? You don't know who your quarterback is. I think you just go BPA, to be honest, right? Like, Mason Graham. You need a defensive interior player. Mason Graham is a freak. Abdul Carter is kind of banged up right now. He just had his college football semifinal game, and he played really well, but he's banged up. You could tell. Panthers number 8. Man, yeah, I don't think Ashton Genty is an option here, to be honest. You got Chuba Hubbard. You just signed him to a big deal. Like, he's played well for you. You drafted that Jonathan Brooks kid when you had no business drafting him, and he was clearly still hurt. And then you rushed him back, and he blew his knee out again. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but my point is, I don't think Ashton Genty is the play here. Your defense sucks. It's one of the worst defenses, and I'm a Bengals fan, so this year I'm right on board with you. We're on the same page. So, you go edge, you go safety, right? Like, where are you gonna go? One of the two, I think, is your options. You could go line maybe, but I think you go with the defense, right? And like I said, man, Abdul Carter's banged up. I'm taking Malachi Starks here. Like, is it a little bit high? Maybe. Like, the guy's a ball hawk and safety. He's a good safety. Like, you cannot emphasize that enough, how valuable that is in the NFL. A guy that can get you turnovers at the safety position is huge, and like can cover anywhere on the field and is versatile. He can do it all. He can play the slot. He got burnt really bad in the slot. Not a great idea to leave him out there as a liability like that. Scheme it up, right? Like, scheme around it. He can play it, but are you going to put him on your slot receiver who's going to burn him that runs like a 4-2? Like, no, not smart. So, yeah, great player, and I think that's where you got to go with that pick. 9, moving on to the Saints, New Orleans. Oof. Yeah, you guys are basically in full rebuild, maybe potentially, depending on Derek Carr, which kind of just depends on the day. Man, it's tough, right? Like, Abdul Carter's here. I definitely don't think you can go wrong with that. I'm torn between going Luther Burden, right? Trying to get you some help with Olave, but seems like you've got some other young receivers that you're developing, and Derek Carr likes to just throw the ball down the field a mile, and that's how he plays. And so, like, he just likes burners, and so that's fine. So he can do that, and you've got plenty of players to do that. So, get an edge rusher at this point. Get Abdul Carter. He's a freak. Moving on, Bears. Yeah, I mean, dude, Ashton Genty. It's really not that big of a question. DeAndre Swift banged up quite frequently. Roshan Johnson, I like a lot. Actually, they don't give him the ball. Like, they really don't, and I don't understand why. He's a significantly bigger back than Swift, and when he got goal line carries, he converted on them, but they just don't use him. Yeah, Ashton Genty, game changer, takes a lot of pressure off your young quarterback, off your passing offense. Huge. Everybody talked about protect Caleb Williams. I don't disagree. Definitely protect him, but great way to do that is to keep the edge rushers off of his nuts, and that's by being afraid of Ashton Genty gashing them. So take Ashton Genty. 11, San Fran. Interesting roster. Like, one of the best rosters, if not arguably the best roster in the NFL, but kind of has holes in it, right? Like, aside from probably Philly, um, they got the corner, the deal with that guy wanting to leave because of, like, his personal trauma, which is totally understandable, and them trying to like do him a solid and get him out of there and stuff. If you don't know about that, one of their corners, yeah, he just, yeah, it's not a good situation for him anymore in California, and so like they're just trying to get him out of there. He's not in like gang trouble. Like he lost a child and whatever. So like it's like it's very traumatizing. So yeah, he's trying to go to a different team, start over, find a new city that doesn't like remind him of all that shit. Fair enough, right? So corner and like offensive line tackle in particular, Purdy needs a pocket. Like the guy is definitely a pocket passer. Definitely needs a solid pocket, right? So do you take the best corner or do you go tackle, right? So the best corner here, Benjamin Morrison, got some health concerns, but he's a great player in my opinion. Um, I think you go tackle, right? I think you go Kelvin Banks. He's a beast. You can maybe go Josh Simmons. It's up to you. He's got some health concerns as well. I think he'll be fine, but it just depends on what you like. Kelvin Banks is a great prospect though. Between him and Will Campbell, it's back and forth, but I like Will Campbell better, but it's neither here nor there. All right. At number 12, we got Dallas Cowboys. A couple different options for sure, a couple different routes that you guys could go. Still got O'Marion Hampton as an option here. I like him a lot. He's just as good as Genty in my opinion. Or very close to. A lot of people like that. Got Luther Burden potentially. Somebody to complement CeeDee Lamb. You had Brandon Cooks there. He seems to be banged up a lot. And you don't really have anybody else there. So I'm okay with going either position there. Still got good edge rushers available as well. I don't know. I I think I don't think you can go wrong really with either of those positions. With who you got on the board, I think that's fine. Let's take Luther Burden. Let's help out CeeDee Lamb. All right, 13 Dolphins. Tua is getting just destroyed every year, banged up all the time, not available when it matters, and that's not good. Got to fix that. Build around Tua. That's what you've been doing, so stay with that strategy. Let's check out tackles. See who we got here. Some really good options, actually. Ursery, excellent option. Some really good tackles. Jonah Savinea, Josh Connerly, Armin Membu. I see him as more of a guard. Still an excellent tackle. Man, I mean, great options here. Any of them, to be honest. Let's go with Josh Simmons. Right? Played against really good competition, played very well. Excellent, well-rounded tackle. I think he's got a really high floor, very safe pick. Colts. Man, tough situation to be honest. I'm not sure what you do. Anthony Richardson seems like he's definitely not the answer. Um, you've got a deep receiving core. Tight end, not great. I've seen a lot of people go Tyler Warren here, get him a tight end, as a quote easy button. I don't know that really helps, to be honest. I mean, is it nice to have a guy to check down to? Sure. Okay. Well, check down to Jonathan Taylor, right? Like, I mean, you got three excellent receivers. I don't think they're all running go balls. Like, is it nice to have a good tight end? For sure, definitely. I don't know, man. I don't think he's the answer, and I don't know. Find another way to get your guy. Like, if you got to draft a quarterback in the second round, or maybe even the third round, if a guy falls to you that you really like, um, take him, dude. Richardson is not the answer. So maybe he will be in 5 years when he develops and he's playing for another team, but he's too raw. So, BPA essentially is the long way of what I'm saying here essentially, and also that it's tough. I don't exactly know what to do because you guys are in a tough position because you're invested in a quarterback that you're kind of stuck with, and I don't think is going to turn around for you. So rough, but it's my analysis on not taking a tight end here. Go Nick Scorton. Very very technical edge rusher. Again, really high floor, solid prospect, good size. Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix, the master. He's a G. He looks pretty good. He does. The Cousins project is over. That did not work. He's coming off that Achilles, man. Nobody looks the same the first year off an Achilles, especially the quarterback position. At that age, it's understandable. So maybe they did make the right pick going with Penix, but you absolutely went about it the wrong way as far as giving the bag to Cousins, and that was just not an intelligent move. But yeah, regardless, you got your guy, you got Penix, you want to build around him. Cool. All right, let's do it. So get him some weapons, or sure up the defense. That's the edge specifically. I think you take an edge, right? I think you've got decent weapons, and you guys run the ball a lot. You got Bijan, you got some other backs as well that are really solid. So take an edge rusher that you like, right? Jalen Walker, I'm considering an edge. Uh, man, some really good guys here. Jack Sawyer, he just shot up the rankings after the performance against Texas in the playoffs. That was wild, understandably so. Excellent player. Go James Hurst Jr. James Hurst Jr. has potentially the highest ceiling of all these edge rushers outside of maybe Abdul Carter. Lightning fast. Needs to continue to like put on some size, but monster, absolute monster, insanely fast. Could be a nightmare at the edge position. Cardinals. Yeah, tough, man. Got some pieces, got some good pieces to build around, but offensive line, defensive line, not good. Yeah. So who do you take? You can kind of go anywhere with that, to be honest. So who do you like? Right, Jalen Walker, Michael Williams, Shamar Stewart, Kenneth Grant. Some really good options here. Kind of just depends on what you want to go. Again, deep edge class, relatively deep guard slash tackle class. Let's take our tackle, Armin Membu. He looked really good. He obviously SEC team, played against really good competition and stuffed some pretty serious guys coming off the end. So looked really good. Bengals at 17, my squad. Number of different routes we can go. Defense was abysmal, not surprising. We just got rid of Lou Anarumo, our DC. We blamed it all on him. His scheme was kind of stale. He didn't have a lot of help with personnel, to be honest. We don't draft well. We don't pay our players to stick around. Also, that creates issues like Jesse Bates, which is leading us into the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins saga slash debacle, right? Like supposedly we cut or let Jesse Bates walk because we were gonna have enough money to pay Jamar and T and Trey Hendrickson. Not sure that's gonna be the case. I hope so, but we'll see. Either way, right? Like if T doesn't come back, which I really hope he does, obviously. If he doesn't come back, drafting a receiver here, I don't love it. I don't love it. I don't want to have to do it in the first round. I like Emeka Ibuka, but I don't want to take him with our first round pick here. We need a guard. It's a little early for a guard, probably. Tackle, we're pretty sure on. I think you go Tyler Warren. The reason you go Tyler Warren is if T does not come back, like you've got a legit receiving threat. You have an inline tight end. Split Gasicki out like he has been all year, right? Like have somebody that can actually line up. I don't think you can go wrong with that pick. Tyler Warren is a freak, and you saw it in the Penn State game. He was their biggest and only really offensive weapon in the passing game. So outside of screen passes to the halfback. All right, number 18, we got the Seahawks. Definitely kind of a question mark at the tackle position. For sure could use some interior offensive line. Pretty solid secondary. Could use an edge rusher as well. Rumors about DK Metcalf potentially not being there. Moving forward, that would be interesting. They've got JSN. JSN is very good. Tyler Lockett's getting old, very old. Got Geno Smith there. It looks like they're building around him. Be interesting to look at Emeka Buka. I think they're, man, I mean, kind of a similar, somewhat style to JSN, right? Seems a little bit redundant. Great running backs. Probably a good spot to trade back potentially with somebody that would be looking to move up. Take your guard, right? Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker's the number one guard in my opinion in this class, and I think that's somewhat universally the view. Hmm. A little bit stumped here. I think we go Jalen Walker. We go Michael Williams. I like Jalen Walker. I mean, Michael Williams. They're very similar. But we're gonna go Jalen Walker here. Texans. Be very grateful that this guy fell to you. You guys have been destroyed by the injury bug at the wide receiver position. Emeka Buka, excellent out of the slot, can be basically your Tank Dell because Tank Dell is. I love Tank Dell. Tank Dell is constantly banged up. Whether it's his fault or not, it's injuries. Like it happens. But regardless, he's banged up a lot. Diggs is hurt. Obviously, yeah. So wide receiver, I think, is the way to go there. 20, Denver. You got great backs. I don't think that's where you go. You got an excellent defense, great secondary. The tight end position, I think, is pretty popular, and I can understand why. I think it's a good move, especially with the receivers that you have available to you at this point in the draft. I think that Colson Loveland is a no-brainer at the spot 20 for the Broncos. 21 Buccaneers, pretty solid roster. Definitely salvage their franchise with the Baker move. That was, I mean, incredible. After putting all the chips on the table to go in for Brady to get the ring, which they did, basically sent him into a mini rebuild, and they were able to get Baker for pretty much nothing. And Baker's been great, a franchise quarterback for them. So steal, best case scenario. Really solid roster. Still held on to a lot of the pieces that they had from the Super Bowl. Obviously, Gronk retired, but Godwin's still there. He's getting older, banged up a lot. Evans, his I don't know 35th year getting 1,000 yards or whatever. It's a joke, obviously, but getting 1,000 yards every year. So yeah, some interesting places that you can go here with this pick. Defense probably is seems to be the popular choice. Man, some really good edge rushers available here, and a defensive interior player. But your defensive interior is very good, right? You got Vita Vea. Let's take Michael Williams. Michael Williams is a stud, absolute freak athlete. Can play linebacker for you, edge rusher, no brainer. Pittsburgh, interesting. Do you go Jalen Milrow? Is it is it too early? Do you think maybe you can trade up early second round to get him? I don't know. I'm not positive you can. Do I think he's worth it? No, I don't. Do I think teams value that athletic build and a quarterback. Yeah, you saw it with Anthony Richardson. He he was not a good thrower, and they still went very highly in the draft with a good quarterback class too. So um I don't know. It's tough. I like Jackson Dart personally. I know a lot of people are low on him for whatever reason. I think he's, to be honest, is the most polished quarterback prospect of all of these guys remaining. Maybe with the exception of Riley Leonard. I think they're on par, very similar. I think, to be honest, yeah, I don't need to elaborate on this. I can go into quarterback later all day, but regardless, it's an interesting thought, right? Do you take Milrow? Probably not. I think it's probably a little bit too early, right? Um, Try to build elsewhere. Your cornerback, Joey Porter Jr. has been decent-ish. I don't think he's been what you've expected him to be for sure, but he's been okay. Outside of that, rough at the cornerback position. Benjamin Morrison is definitely the best corner available. Sean Revel is very good as well. Trey Amos, Jade Barron, also excellent corner. Aside from hip injury, hands down, easily best corner available. LA Rams. LA is a tough pick for me. I'm not always too sure where to go for them. Sometimes I take tackle, and I feel like that's a pretty safe pick. Josh Connerly is still available. A lot of people are really high on him. There's some excellent tackles. Wyatt Milam, again, I see him more as a guard. Cam Williams kind of fell off a little bit, but Arianti Ursary, he is huge and polished. Same with Jonas Savania, also very, very good tackle. It's interesting. If you want to go that route, that's definitely an option. That being said, I think you go Siobhan Revel. He's still available. If he hadn't gotten hurt, he probably would have gone earlier in this draft. You could use a cornerback, and to be honest, if you don't take him there, Green Bay's taking him next. I think that's a no-brainer for them with Jair hurt. So I think Siobhan Revel is a steal there. Green Bay, you would have liked to have seen that guy fall into you. I think you'd be praying for that. That being said, there are still some other very good corners left, and this is the last run of the excellent ones. Azariah Thomas is kind of a question mark. He's a bigger, more physical corner. It's hard to tell when you're playing for Florida State last year, dude. Like I know all these scouts are like great, but when your team is getting dogged by 40 points, like it's hard to really evaluate somebody like that. So that it's a question mark for me for sure. Trey Amos, he's got the size. Jade Barron, dude, I like Jade Barron. He's a ball hawk. He's fast. He's always in a good position to make a play. He's versatile. He could play safety as well, but I like him as a corner. Um, yeah, Jade Barron for me, no brainer. All right. The Chargers. A lot of people wanted Ashton Genty to fall here potentially. He may. He definitely could. It's possible. But or maybe he'll go in the top 10. It's tough to tell with running back. Everybody thought that Bijan was going to fall as well, and he ended up going to the Falcons at 5. So that was pretty early. So Bijan, he's again I hate to use the word generational, but a lot of people view him as like a generational back. He's excellent. O'Marion Hampton. I see him on the same plane as Genty. Better receiving back, even in my opinion. A big back, not as elusive, but this guy does not shy away from contact, and it is terrifying if you were trying to tackle him. Like, good luck. He's gonna wear on you. If he's an every down back, and he should be, fourth quarter comes around, dude, teams are done. They don't want to stop the run. He doesn't try to avoid people. Like you'll see elusive backs, cut around, juke people. He doesn't even set it up. He literally just runs through people. It's pretty crazy. So I love to watch him. I think he's gonna be a stud. He's worth the pick here, in my opinion. Not to glaze, sorry, but like he's one of the best players in this draft, in my opinion. Extremely underrated. And I get it because Genti is amazing, so he's taken a lot of like that spotlight. But in my opinion, just as good of a back, like just as good. Washington, again, I mean, I really do like the Stanford receiver. I do. Um, Outside of that, I don't love the rest of the receivers, to be honest, at this point for the value. I think you protect your investment, right? Jaden Daniels, he's the future. You take Josh Connerly, very highly rated tackle, improved a lot throughout the year, looked really good. Um, Josh Connerly is an easy pick there. Ravens at 27 could definitely another team that could use receiver help, for sure. To me, to be honest, corner is dire for you guys. Like you've got great safety in Kyle Hamilton, but corner, you guys are facing, especially if you're playing the Bengals. I mean, that's my team. You're going against insane receivers consistently. Um, I think cornerback is a no brainer here for you, and I think you've got the last elite one potentially in Trey Amos. Excellent size. It's going to help, especially a guy like T Higgins. You're going to need a bigger corner. He just absolutely embarrasses smaller corners. They can't guard him. Like he's too big. He's too good at high pointing. Joe Burrow's too accurate. So there's no stopping that. You need a bigger receiver to compete in the AFC North, and like they play physical football, so you need a tough corner. They're getting pushed around out there. Minnesota. I'm not positive. Kenneth Grant fell to you guys here. He's an excellent player. He is. You've got some other really, really good defensive interior players here. Tyleik Williams, I like a lot. Walter Nolan, I like. To be honest, the guy that I really like at the defensive interior position, who for whatever reason has fallen down the board quite a bit. Alfred Collins is very good as well. I don't even see him here. Derek Harmon. Yeah, I he has fallen for whatever reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe his PFF grade, they were, nitpicking the hell out of him or something, and he did something egregious, and everybody jumped on that. I don't know. When I watched the playoff game, he was the only one on defense for Oregon that was making any plays. He was in the backfield, disruptive against two of the best backs in college football. He was all over the passer. He was the only one that was getting any pressure. And from the defensive interior position, that's insanely valuable. Derek Harmon, very underrated. Arguably the most underrated player that could go in the first round, I think. Sneaky good for sure. I think you go the same position here. If you're the Bills and if Kenneth Grant falls to you, I think you take him for sure. It's a good fit. He's an excellent player. He's massive, disruptive. Um, I think that's the way to go. There's good backs in that division. There are. Like the division is soft, but they can run the football, man. Like Brees Hall, for as much as the Jets suck, Brees Hall is a scary back. Devon Achan, scary back. Like you got to be able to stuff the run. It's massive. So yeah, I think that's where you go with that pick, Kenneth Grant. Eagles, crazy roster. Absolutely crazy. I really, to be honest, if there was a receiver here that fell, um, I think I really like receiver for them a lot. Having a true three and a guy that can help when one of those guys goes down every year, which seems like they inevitably do. I like Jaden Higgins here. I think this is really at the point when you can start to consider taking him. Again, it might be a touch early. I do like him though. He's a good player for sure. I think, man, if you guys are looking for some help at the guard position, which your offensive line is huge for you guys, like it's massive. You have one of the best offensive lines in football. But if you need a little help at that position, and it's really one of the few positions that you do need help at, I mean, this is unfair, to be honest. Tyler Booker, I mean, yeah, watch out, dude. Saquon, Tyler Booker, that insane offensive line already, that would be a nightmare for teams. So I hope it doesn't happen because it's over for the rest of us if it does, for real. That team is loaded. Chiefs. Um, another like I mean we're in the back half of the roster now. Like these teams are Super Bowl teams for a reason. They don't have a lot of holes in their lineup and they can afford to take the best player on their board. So um Jahad Campbell, man. Lucky enough that he falls to you, a guy that can play edge, probably will play edge, but one of the best linebackers in college football this year. Size, speed, nightmare, absolute nightmare. Got the pedigree. You know, that Alabama defense, there were definitely some bright spots on it, and he was one of them for sure. So, all right, 32, the Lions, the last pick of the first round. Some great players that have fallen. Wyatt Milam at the guard position would be incredible. Another edge rusher to help you out with Aiden Hutchinson. And how crazy would that be? I mean, everybody's talked about it, right? Jack Sawyer coming off that game last night against Texas where he literally wins the game for his team on fourth down, scores a defensive touchdown. Crazy, right? Put him and Aiden Hutchinson on the same line with DJ Reader. Oof, that's a nightmare. So, all right, boys, there it is. The first mock draft of the year. We'll go through the recap here quick. Number 1, we took Travis Hunter for the Titans. Number 2, the Browns take Cam Ward. 3, Teteroy McMillan to the Giants. 4, Will Campbell to the Patriots. 5, Will Johnson to the Jaguars. 6, Shadur Sanders to the Raiders. 7, the Jets take Mason Graham. 8, the Panthers select Malachi Starks. 9, Abdul Carter to the Saints. 10, Ashton Genty goes to the Bears. Kelvin Banks to the Niners at 11. Cowboys take Luther Burden, wide receiver. And Josh Simmons at 13. Tackle goes to Miami. 14, Nick Scorton, the edge rusher, goes to the Colts. 15, James Pierce Jr. goes to Atlanta. Armin Membu, 16, to the Arizona Cardinals to get their tackle help. 17, Tyler Warren to the Bengals. 18, Jalen Walker to the Seahawks. 19, Emeka Ibuka goes to the Texans. 20th pick, Denver takes Colston Loveland. 21, Bucks go Michael Williams. 22, Steelers corner Benjamin Morrison. 23, the Rams take Siobhan Revel. 24, Jahdae Barron goes to the Packers. 25, Omarion Hampton, halfback, goes to the Chargers. Washington takes Josh Connerly at 26. 27, Baltimore goes Trey Amos, the corner. 28, Minnesota takes Derek Harmon. 29, Kenneth Grant goes to the Bills. 30, the Eagles take Tyler Booker. And 31, Jahad Campbell, linebacker, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. And lastly, edge rusher Jack Sawyer to the Detroit Lions. All right, if you guys enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, and have some more mock drafts for you. Yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Peace.